A mother's greatest fear is to lose her son or daughter prematurely. Alice suffers from this dilemma. Her son Chris is very ill. With her knees on the floor, she begs God to save her beloved son. On the other hand, David, the boy's father, is a man without faith. For him, his wife praying for the child's life is a waste of time, regardless of what belief she has. His wife becomes indignant and screams at him to respect her faith and also respect the life of their son. The man argues that she is only wasting her life by carrying this child everywhere. He suggests that Alice go do something worthwhile. The mother obviously doesn't agree. She doesn't think that taking care of her child is a waste of time. She believes in the Lord and believes that Chris will be healed. Alice exclaims that he should be ashamed to talk about their son like that. She can't understand how he shows such indifference to the greatest gift God has given them. The faithless and heartless man gives a sarcastic smile and says he is sure that this child will not be healed. But Alice's faith is not shaken by this cruel and, in a way, evil man. She knows that her son was born perfect and that the illness he is currently suffering from is only a probation. With faith in God, she knows that the child will make a full recovery. David shouts that she can believe, but she will be alone. The woman doesn't care. She doesn't need to have a man by her side who has no faith and doesn't care about the life of his own child. The next day, Alice goes to the bedroom and says good morning to the most precious thing in her life, the boy Chris, her son. Unfortunately, he is still very ill and needs his mother's help to get him out of bed. Alice spares no effort to make her son realize that she is by his side in this difficult time. The house, as you can see, has no one but the two of them. David, Chris' father, should be there to help him, but he is a cruel man who doesn't care about his own son's life, as we have seen before. The loving mother positions Chris carefully at the dining table and brings him the glass he usually uses. David is actually at home. He is lying in bed and Alice yells for breakfast to happen as a family. A few minutes later, he appears and greets them both, showing no particular concern for the little boy. The woman informs that she is just finishing breakfast and they will be able to eat soon. She asks if the son is hungry and the boy answers yes. Alice assures that she is making delicious food for him. The mother is sure that he will love it. In addition, she has bought his favorite sweet for dessert. The day has barely started and David is already out of patience. He stresses that it is unacceptable that she is spending his money for that weird child. Alice wonders if he's going crazy to talk about their son like that. For David, she is the crazy one, who should be buying things necessary for the house, not candy for that child who is running out of time. The exemplary mother does not quietly allow him to speak such barbarities about Chris. He shouldn't mind her spending his money, after all, Chris is also his son. Alice demands that he stop being so cruel to the boy. The man once again gives his evil laugh and complains that all the money he earns at work is being spent on that child, either spending it on medication or treatments that probably won't work. For him, however, there is never any money for anything. Everything is spent on therapy sessions and uncertain tests. David declares that he can't take it anymore and announces that he intends to put that child up for adoption. Alice does not allow this to be considered. She demands that he never speak such a thing about her child again. The woman declares she is tired of him acting like a teenager, not an adult parent. The cruel man claims to have lost the will to drink coffee and gets up without apologizing for the atrocities he spoke. Alice needs to take a deep breath. Alice apologizes to Chris and the boy asks if Dad doesn't love him anymore. She replies that it is not that. His father is just not in a very good frame of mind because of the stress at work. The mother advises her son not to believe things said by David. Alice makes it clear that she loves Chris very much and will take care of him forever. Poor little boy, it's not easy for him either. Minutes later, Chris' private doctor pays a visit. Alice goes to the door so she can enter. The doctor is a young woman named Eduarda. Helping the boy's healing is a particular goal of hers. The two greet each other and she quickly questions where the big boy is, referring to Chris. Alice informs the doctor that he is on the dinner table. The health professional asks that he be moved to the living room so she can check on him. Once again, it is necessary for Alice to carry him on her lap, since Chris's illness has affected his ability to stand. With her usual care and love, He is positioned on the couch so that the doctor can work properly as if she were in the hospital. While this is occurring, Alice goes into the bedroom so that the doctor can get comfortable with the boy. The nice woman asks Chris how he is feeling. He claims to be feeling fine. The child wants to know if there are any chances of him walking again. The doctor assures him that it will definitely happen. In this first analysis, it is already noticeable that he has made some important clinical progress. She gently squeezes his foot to check how is the sensitivity of Chris in the foot. The boy responds that he feels little. When she starts the physical therapy exercises, he comments about his father's intention to put him up for adoption. Eduarda is incredulous and he confesses that he is very afraid of this happening. The health professional hopes that he will not be saddened by what David has said. The doctor points out that his father is still getting used to this whole situation involving his illness. Eduarda warns that it is possible that on certain days his father may say things that will hurt him. She makes it clear that no matter what happens or what is said, she and his mother love him very much. Eduarda is a fantastic doctor. 1 hour later, the physical therapy exercises continue. They are very important for Chris to walk again. Alice goes over and asks how things are going. The doctor replies that everything is as expected and announces that the exercises are over for the day. Eduarda gets up, grabs her things and says goodbye to Chris, wishing him to take care so he can get better soon. The boy also says goodbye to her and Alice thanks Eduarda for the great services provided, always very affectionate with Chris. Before the woman leaves, Alice shows for the first time her doubt in the son's recovery and asks if the doctor thinks he will walk again. The health professional hesitates for a few seconds, but she believes in Chris's cure. She promises that she will study hard for his full recovery to happen as soon as possible. In addition, she will contact some medical friends so that together they can come up with a definite answer that will allow Chris to return to his normal life as before. Eduarda is also a woman of faith. She believes that Chris still has many things to live and, God willing, soon he will be running around the house again and making dreams come true. Weeks later. Unfortunately, Chris's situation has not changed yet. He still needs his mother's help to get around the house. It is almost as if Alice was a single mother. Whenever David shows up, it is to accuse her of wasting time with the boy. He shouts at her to stop trying because it is clear that Chris will never walk again. Alice replies that enough is enough. She will not allow him to talk such nastiness to their son. David crosses all the limits. If it were up to him, they would buy a wheelchair and throw the boy out on the street. For him, anything is better than spending money on a sick child who will never get better. The father classifies his own son as a burden that hinders Alice's life. The indignant wife demands that he shut up and reinforces that she will not allow him to talk like that in front of their son. She is tired and can't stand his rude comments every day any longer. For her, if anyone has to leave that house, it is him, an unbearable and cruel person. David shouts that he can't take it anymore either. After saying this, he goes to the bedroom, where Alice hopes that he will take his things and leave. Chris remains silent, in a clear mixture of confusion and sadness. Alice apologizes to Chris for the yelling and points out that soon the physical therapist should arrive to do the exercises that will soon help him walk again. Looking into her son's eyes, nothing shakes Alice's faith in God. Minutes later. At the appointed time, Eduarda knocks on the door and is greeted by Alice. The two women, who have a commitment to Chris' health, greet each other. The doctor always comes into the house asking where the big boy is. This time Chris is already lying on the couch waiting for her. Following tradition, the boy's mother goes into the bedroom so that Eduarda can begin the necessary procedures. Eduarda is not a physical therapist restricted to exercises. She also always talks to the boy so that he sees her beyond the authority of a doctor. 1 hour later. There comes a moment when the exercise is a little stronger than the rest of the session. Despite this, Chris responds that he is not feeling anything. The same happens in his left leg. He comments again that his father yells at him every day because he is no longer able to walk. Eduarda is a little embarrassed, not knowing what to say, but advises him not to be sad. She believes that his father is just taking a little time to get used to this new reality. On the other hand, she and his mother think he is a very special boy and they both love him very much. The doctor is sure that soon, with God's blessings, he will walk again. The gentle woman calls him a special little boy who doesn't have to worry about the bad things his father might eventually say. Eduarda tells him that she will talk to his mommy now about something, but promises that she will come back soon to continue the exercises. With great care and affection, she positions Chris's 2 feet back on the soft couch. Although young, he understands quite clearly what is going on and behaves very well. Eduarda goes to Alice and tells that she has been studying very hard about her son's illness. She is sorry to report that, as far as everything indicates, his health condition is irreversible. The physical therapist assures that she has studied hard, but neither she nor her former college professors or friends have been able to find a way to recover the movements of Chris' legs. Alice doesn't want to believe that this is the truth. No matter what science may say, she is sure that her son will walk again. Eduarda advises the mother to buy a wheelchair. The woman refuses to let Chris use a wheelchair. To her, that would be admitting that he will not recover. Alice points out that her son was not born this way and he will not stay this way. The doctor regrets having to be the one to say this, but it is time to accept reality. The evidence is not enough for the boy's mother. Eduarda pleads with Chris's mother not to get upset and speaks low. Alice repeatedly exclaims that her son will walk again. She emphasizes that this will happen because she feels it in her heart. She believes in the infinite power of God. The physical therapist understands and respects. She, though, opines that if Chris doesn't have access to a wheelchair, he will suffer even more. He will suffer because he will always be dependent on his mother for everything, even to go to the toilet. The doctor begs Alice to listen and make the most responsible decision, not the easiest or most convenient. Alice is not convinced by the arguments. Her belief that God will allow the son to walk again is greater than anything that can be said. She repeats that Chris was not born this way and knows, being his mother, how healthy he is. The doctor gives up trying to convince her. Eduarda disagrees, but at the same time believes that Alice has the right to do what she thinks is correct. She makes herself available to appear at other times and promises that she will continue to study Chris's condition. Alice's faith is unshakable, but that doesn't mean that sometimes she doesn't know what to say or do. What is left for her is to take a deep breath, believe in God, and pass on as much trust and love as possible to the son. The mother goes to the boy and strokes his hand. Chris is a kind child and asks why she is sad. The woman answers that she is not sad. She claims to have a bit of a cold and that is why her voice is not so good. Affectionate as always, she inquires how the physical therapy went today. Chris replies that it was good. She asks if he is confident that he will walk again and Chris says I don't know, an answer that does not please her. Alice wants him to have the same certainty and faith as she does. She repeats that he was walking perfectly a few months ago and it is a matter of time before everything will be back to normal. The mother is sure that he will still play a lot with his friends at school. She is sure that he will still run a lot and get dirty in the mud. Alice knows that he loves to ride his bike and that this hobby will become a routine in his life again. His mother predicts that they will still go for many more bike rides in the park, something they used to do every weekend before the illness. Looking into his eyes, Alice repeatedly claims that he will heal and walk again, faster than they think and the doctors predict. Alice swears that until that day comes, she will be by his side to help him. The love she feels for him is immense and God will work an incredible miracle in their lives. For now, she will put him to bed for some rest because the therapy sessions are very tiring. Alice takes Chris on her lap so that he can be carefully placed on his comfortable bed. Minutes later, again with her knees on the ground and eyes closed, the woman prays for the Lord to perform a miracle in her son's life. Alice pledges to do whatever is necessary, even to give her life in exchange, so that Chris will be able to walk again as before. The mother prays that God will have mercy on Chris, a child who deserves to be happy and enjoy life to the fullest. While she is talking to the Lord, David approaches her. Just like the other times, he is not happy to see Alice praying for Chris' recovery. The cruel man complains that she continues to waste time talking to herself. David has no faith and mocks his wife's belief, something simply unacceptable. But she doesn't put her head down and affirms that she will continue to pray for their son as long as it takes. She still cannot understand how he has the courage to treat their sick son with such indifference and coldness. The man argues that she is only wasting her life's time carrying this useless child everywhere. It is incomprehensible to Alice that he has no shame in saying this kind of thing. She highlights that he is their son and so he should have a little more sensibility. The woman can no longer stand him complaining every day that she is fighting for the recovery of their son, a struggle that should be shared by both. "Our son?" he asks in a contemptuous tone. David announces his decision to leave the house. Alice encourages him to do so. To her, it no longer makes sense for them to continue living together if he doesn't even respect their son. "Okay, I'm leaving," he speaks without understanding the big mistake he is taking, or, worse, without caring. Alice's concern is only for Chris's health. As soon as she closes the bedroom door, she quickly drops to her knees again to continue begging God for a miracle. There is nothing and no one else to believe in but all the mercy of the Lord, creator of the universe, able to make possible what science says is impossible. In a dream or divine message, a man appears in front of the boy Chris. Calling him my son, he wakes up the boy, who, confused, asks who he is and what he is doing there. The divine figure reveals that he is there to heal him. The man announces that David will walk again like he used to. The boy asks if he is a doctor or maybe another physical therapist. The divine figure replies that he is not a doctor, but someone who is always by Chris' side, always and in any circumstance. The boy seems to realize what is happening and says that he needs to tell his mother. The man states that he doesn't need to tell his mother anything, because this will be a secret between the two of them. He predicts that tomorrow, when Chris wakes up, he will notice that a miracle has happened. The divine being, which for some can be interpreted as the guardian angel or even God himself, recognizes that Chris deserves this miracle, because he has always been a very good boy. Chris thanks the Lord for this new opportunity and both, in a touching scene, say goodbye. The next morning, as was predicted in the divine message, Chris wakes up and, by a miracle, is able to move his legs. Alice opens the door and he proudly shows that he can move his legs like he used to. The woman is touched and wonders what might have happened. "It was the angel who did it," he responds. Although she never stopped believing, Alice is perplexed that her son really is walking perfectly. She makes it clear that she knew he would be healed, all she had to do was believe in God, and the Lord has gifted them with this incredible miracle. On earth, a mother's love is the closest thing to God's love. We hope that this video can touch your heart. May the Lord bless you and all your family.